Did Iran just win the Hormuz gamble? With a new peace framework quietly revealing how much leverage Tehran now holds? Has the US effectively conceded defeat by giving in to Iran's key demands in the latest draft peace proposal? Has Iran cornered Trump into lifting what critics call a failed US blockade in the Strait of Hormuz, turning pressure back on Washington? Are Trump's troops now set to pull back from areas around Iran's territory under the new peace framework, after months of costly escalation? Iran said on May 27 that it has received an initial, unofficial US draft framework aimed at ending the ongoing conflict and stabilizing the region. The draft reportedly lays out steps to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to normal commercial trade, restoring a key global energy artery. Tehran has claimed that, under this framework, commercial shipping traffic through Hormuz would return to pre-war levels within about 1 month. The proposal is said to require Washington to end its naval blockade on Iran as part of the de-escalation measures. Under the reported terms, the United States would also withdraw military forces from areas surrounding Iranian territory, easing direct pressure on Iran's borders. Iranian state television has emphasized that military vessels are excluded from the proposed Hormuz framework, focusing the deal on commercial shipping. According to the outline, Iran and Oman would jointly manage and coordinate shipping through the strategic strait, giving both capitals a central role. Tehran has stressed that no part of this draft agreement has been finalized yet, describing it as a work in progress. Iranian officials say they will only act once they receive tangible verification from the US, insisting on concrete steps rather than promises. State media in Iran has framed the document as an early memorandum of understanding style framework, not a binding treaty at this stage. Reports suggest the draft could evolve into a broader, more detailed agreement within roughly 60 days if talks make headway. If finalized, the deal could reportedly be endorsed via a United Nations Security Council resolution, giving it international backing. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the world's most critical global energy choke points, making any framework governing it strategically significant. This reported framework has emerged in the context of ongoing indirect negotiations aimed at ending wider regional hostilities and reducing the risk of further escalation. Iran has issued a chilling new warning directly aimed at US President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Iran's Revolutionary Guards warned both America and Israel against taking any step that could trigger a fresh war in the region. The IRGC claimed the stretch from Chabahar to Mahahar would become a graveyard for any force that dares attack. The stark message was delivered by a senior IRGC Navy official and was later quoted by Iranian state-linked media. Mohammad Akbarzadeh openly mocked Washington and Tel Aviv, claiming another war against Iran would be impossible to sustain. Iran further declared that while the US and Israel may appear aggressive, their weakness would be exposed if conflict returns. Mohammad Akbarzadeh said, quote, "The possibility of war is low because of the enemy's weakness. The armed forces are lying in wait with full magazines. Do not doubt that we will turn the area from Chabahar to Mahahar into a graveyard for aggressors." Iran's latest threat comes amid growing reports that the United States and Israel may already be preparing for another phase of war. Reports claim Washington has maintained a list of remaining targets inside Iran that could be struck if tensions spiral again. But even if Trump authorizes action, US forces may struggle to hit those targets effectively under current conditions. Pentagon officials reportedly believe Iran's top leaders and strategic hubs are now much harder to strike than before. The remaining targets inside Iran are also said to be increasingly complex, concealed and operationally difficult to reach. Frequent relocation of assets and leadership across Iran is reportedly creating major challenges for military planners tracking them. Israel is also reportedly preparing for the possibility of resuming military action against Iran if negotiations collapse once more. The revelation was made by Israel's ambassador to Australia during a recent interview with Iran International. Hillel Newman said Israel supports US-Iran diplomacy, but only under conditions that meet Israel's core security demands. The Israeli envoy insisted Iran must completely halt its nuclear program and accept zero uranium enrichment going forward. He also warned that Israel remains prepared to strike again if those objectives are ultimately not achieved. When asked whether Israel would launch another war alone if needed, Newman avoided giving a direct answer. The Israel envoy said, and I quote, "We're in favor of talks as long as they attain the objectives. We cannot compromise on the objectives. As I said, the objectives are removal of the nuclear capability, zero enrichment, zero enriched uranium in Iran. Also the fact of the ballistic missiles and stopping their support of the proxies which cause unrest in the entire Middle East. If we can attain it through negotiations and diplomatic discussions, fine. If not, we might have to go back to the military campaign in order to attain the objectives, but the objectives must be attained. We're actually now in a kind of a ceasefire which we have declared and accepted because we're giving a good opportunity. In good faith for the discussions, for the diplomatic resolution of the issue. We have trust. We have confidence in President Trump. We work together closely. There's coordination.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.